So what you just got done watching was me last summer with a borrowed man lift, doing a bunch of tree work around here, which was years overdue. Part of the tree work was removing some brush in a cottonwood tree from under this power line, and now I have to replace some kind of a visual screen. So I have several questions for you guys pertaining to my landscaping in my garden this year. And these are not rhetorical questions. I really want to know what you think. So I bought 20 of these Thuja Emerald Green 7G. It's some sort of an arborvitae, I think, from Costco. 25 bucks a piece. What a bargain. I need a visual screen against the whole world looking into my yard. It's got to come back fast, so I've got a bunch of questions. Even though I don't think these will help with the sound, they'll help with the privacy. How close together should I plant these things? Question number one. Question number two, how deep should I plant these things and how should I amend the soil? This is really junk soil. And I'm going to build up a little bit of a terrace here and put some boulders out there and beat the blackberries back and mulch it. Yes, but give me some coaching on spacing, depth, soil amendment, fertilizer. Help me not wreck these things because I got $500 worth of trees here. So I've got a question. I've got 2 Gravenstein trees here. My dad cut a big chunk of it off years ago and it's rotted out. This thing produces like crazy. The fruit is good, but clearly, this is getting weak enough, it's a problem. Is there something I can do to help this? Should I yank it or just wait till it tips over and hope it doesn't hurt anybody? That's question one. But I love the Gravenstein apples. And then I've got a big 100-year-old Gravenstein tree over there that doesn't produce 30 apples a year. Should I yank it? Or is there some way to provoke that thing to devoting more of its energy to fruit? I don't know. I'm not a fruit guy, but my wife makes great apple pie. I've got 2 trees here. They're my favorite fruit trees on the place because I planted them 10 years ago. And there's nothing like picking the fruit from the trees you planted yourself, and so I love it. I've done a couple things. It was hard to mow the grass under here, so I round up the grass, I covered it with paper, heavy paper like I use on the garden, and then I covered it about 8 inches deep with tree chips, that I get from the arborists. That bakes down. I love it. This screen is to keep the beavers from chewing down one of my favorite trees. I've lost a pear tree to beavers from the creek, but I got even with the beavers, I can just tell you that. The question that I have that I really need an answer to is it reasonable to prune these things like every 3rd year? Because they seem to be on an every other year bearing cycle, and when I prune them, it shuts off the bearing. I don't know what to do about pruning versus encouraging them to keep producing. I don't know. Are there tricks to that? I'm sure. And some of you know the tricks. So let us know, would you? This is the other tree, planted at the same time. This is a mixture of different grafts, mostly Honeycrisp. It's bigger. It got bigger in the first year, I think because it's planted on the location of an old willow tree that Dad and I took out like 12 years ago. So I think there's some residual nutrients in the ground from that willow which breaks down so fast. The same paper and mulch helped a whole bunch. It's sprawling. I don't prune very well, but I have the same questions. I need to get more screen on there because I actually caught a beaver in the process of trying to get through the screen on this one, and the tree was outgrowing it anyway, so time to re-protect. All right, so where I'm kneeling right now is right on the top of the trench, one of the trenches that I put in doing the underground project. You probably watched part of that. So I finally got the grade healed up, finally got, ready to plant. Planted grass, a shade-sun mix of grass. And what did I get? A little grass and a lot of chickweed right down the trench. Worse, this year the chickweed defeated the red clover in the garden. So what do I do? Weed and feed, seed, fertilize. What do I do over the top of this trench right through here for this 60 feet so the grass is better? But the real question is, what do I do in the garden? Because it's a mess already. So you've seen the successes and failures we've had with red clover as a cover crop in the garden. I think we've tried it 5 years. I think we've won 3 times and lost twice. One year we planted it too late and it didn't germinate. Usually we plant it, it germinates, it comes up, it keeps up with the weeds, gets ahead of the weeds, and is dominant. This year, the weeds that usually try to beat in the race aren't even here, and this chickweed I've never seen such a crop of chickweed, and neither had they. Well, I took it down to the Oregon State University Extension office. They identified this stuff. Chickweed, apparently chickens will eat it. But it has really, really overrun my garden. I had Kelly mow 2 strips so you could see. The good news is that in some places underneath here when she mowed it, you can find the occasional red clover coming up. And down on this end, the clover has a chance. So down here, the chickweed is not as rampant, and there's clover that was clawing its way up in here. So anyhow, I need a little coaching, boys, because I have loved red clover as a cover crop. I do not love the implication of this chickweed taking over the world. It's too late in the season to spray. I think my typical plow, plant, paper, mulch will kind of get ahead of this stuff for now, this year, but I want to go back to the good old days of by the middle of May, the red clover being knee-high and bright red, and I don't think that's going to happen this year. So this has been the raspberry patch. We don't know anything about this, but we've been learning. We decided we had way more raspberry potential than we needed, so we pruned it down there and we yanked it through here. I'm going to put blueberries in here, so give me some coaching on blueberries, will you? I think I can dig out and set over the fence anything that's in here that needs to go, including all this chickweed, and then bring in good soil, and I think they need acidic, I don't know, but I know they need water, and so give me a little guidance on what to do to put in a little strip of blueberries right here, butting up to the raspberries over there. So one more question, and it's this. I've never grafted anything, but I'm interested in grafting. Is it worth grafting Bing cherries or Rainier cherries into this stump that's putting out shoots as fast as it can to capitalize on the vitality of the stump and then have a grafted sort of an awkward tree in the middle of my yard? Or should I just yank it? Should I just get it out of here and either plant the right tree or put it back to yard? I don't know. But backing up to, I think it was 3 years ago when the top of that redwood tree blew over, I've learned, and Kelly reinforces, it's a mistake to put trees too close to your house, because you plant a tree and before you know it, it's a problem. It's a beautiful problem, but it is a problem that requires maintenance. Springtime's coming. The renewal, the soul energizing feeling of a damp, dewy springtime morning with the world coming back to life. It gears us up for one more year, God willing. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.